welcome back to my channel. For today we're going to finish the Postal themed Lapbook. It's going to be quite a long video because at the end of the video I will do a full flip through in real time. I'm going to start off by cutting a piece of paper that will be the background of the next panel that I'm going to work on, and I want to create I don't know how to call it, but I want to make something with elastic bands and eyelets that you can slide things in. I don't know how to explain, but you will see it will all make sense a bit later. So I'm going to see if this piece of paper is the right size, and then I'm going to measure out where I want my eyelets to go. I'm going to make 4 holes on each side of the paper. Now, I've never made something like this before and it's going to fail, but I didn't really film me making the second one. But yeah, it's the same exact process. I'm going to color a piece of my white elastic band with some oxide sprays, and these are Vintage Photo and Ground Espresso and a bit of water. And then I'm just going to dip the elastic band in and make sure that everything is colored, and then I'm going to let it dry. As you can see, the eyelets are already put into the piece of paper as well, and now I'm going to thread through the elastic band. Now, the reason why this is failed is because I didn't use the washers on the back side. So when I'm going to glue it down later, one of the eyelets actually popped out. So that's the reason why I had to make a new panel. And for the new one, I decided to use the washers, and that made it a lot more sturdy and made sure that the eyelets weren't going to move anymore. And I also decided to back the other piece with some craft cardstock to make it more sturdy. Because of the elastic band, I wanted to have it a bit of a tension, and that makes the paper go like curl a bit. And because it's just one piece of paper that's fairly thin, it didn't want to stick down properly, and I think that's why the eyelet ripped out. You can see that I'm also sort of struggling with how I'm going to do this. Anyway, I'm going to glue it down with some double-sided tape as well as some art glitter glue. And here you can see what I mean, that the paper is curling because of the tension, and I think the tension was a bit too much, and then the eyelet ripped. And this is the new piece with the craft cardstock on the back, and I also did some sewing. And you can also see that now it doesn't curl up anymore at all, so it's way easier to stick it down. But the process was the exact same thing, which is why I didn't film it. I'm then going to go over with my Vintage Photo, the edges I mean. And now this thing is done, and I'm going to attach it to the panel with the removable notebook. And I'm going to use the double-sided tape again, as well as some art glitter glue. I then want to make a faux postage stamp booklet, so I'm going to cut a few pieces of paper to size. And I'm then going to ink around all of the edges on the fronts and the backs with some Vintage Photo. As you can see, I have a lot of the same kind of stamps, these blue ones. So I'm going to use these ones as a booklet, as if you would have bought in the store. So I'm going to glue them down. I think it's a row of 4 by 3. Yeah, 4 by 3. And I'm then going to use my scoreboard to score a folding line. And then I'm going to match up all of the other pieces of paper to score it at the exact same spot. And then I'm also going to cover these with the postage stamps. Once I'm done, I'm going to use this, I don't know what the name is. Is it a rotary cutter? It's this tool from Holtz that creates little holes so you can rip it off like tickets. So I'm going to do that all around of the postage stamps so that you could rip them out if you would want to. And this will only be for the aesthetic, as if it's a real postage booklet, of course. I then want to use some of this glassine paper. This is like one of those shutter, or no, not shutter, like the protective pages that are in photo albums. And I'm going to cut one to the size that I need. And I'm going to glue it to the front. And then I'm also going to glue in all of the pages. I already glued down the back, so I'm going to carefully take it off and then add the eyelets or the brads so that I can glue the brads on the inside again, if that makes sense. I then want to do some stamping on the glassine, so I'm going to add a piece of white paper underneath so that I can see actually what I'm doing, and then I'm just going to use my stamps from the correspondence set from Holtz. And I'm then going to dry it with my heat gun because the ink dries a bit slower on the glassine. And here you can see that you can rip out the postage stamps. I really like how this booklet turned out. I hope you like it too. And if you have a bunch of the same postage stamps, or you could do like one page with the same stamps and then the next one with other ones, something like that. I then want to put in these printables. I will put down below in the comments or in the description what it's from, because I can't remember at the top of my head, but it's from Etsy somewhere. And these I've printed on newspaper print, which is very thin paper, and it makes it feel a bit more authentic when you touch it, I guess. And I'm going to roughen it up quite a bit. I'm going to tear it, and I'm going to use my sanding disc as well. And I'm then going to ink around the edges with some ground espresso. I also want to add a few pieces of the Cellotape. I then want to decorate this envelope. This is a real vintage one, and I'm going to stamp on it as if it is a address, and I'm using the sign here. No, not sign here. I'm using the sample stamp sets, and it is dates from the past and signatures from the past. And then I'm going to use one of those postage stamps that I ripped out of the booklet, and I'm going to stamp on it with the circle stamp, and then I'm going to put in another letter that I distressed. And lastly, I add another photograph, and with that, this part is also finished. Now I remembered that I still had to decorate the inside of this flap, so that's what we're going to do. And I'm going to make one side tuck belly band. Well, it's not really a belly band, but a side tuck thing, I guess. I'm going to ink around the edges of this strip of paper, and then I'm going to do some collaging on top of it. And I'm just going to use some leftover pieces from the project, as well as some as embellishments and such. I then want to use this washi tape, which is from Reminiscence as well, from Elizabeth Craft Designs. And this was kindly gifted to me by Natalie from Line.Arrow. We did a swap recently again. I wanted a Edith Holden book, and she had one for me, and she wanted some fabrics in return. But then she added this washi tape as well, which is very, very sweet. Thank you again, Natalie, if you're watching. And yeah, I'm going to use this as well in my collage. I absolutely love this washi tape. It's really cool. It really fits the theme as well. And with that, the collage is finished, and now I'm going to stick it down, and I'm going to use some art glitter glue for that. And lastly, I decided to add this stamp. I then want to create a journal card, and I'm going to use 2 large index cards for that, and I'm going to back them up with each other. And then I want to use some distress oxide sprays to give it a bit of color, and I'm going to use my speckled egg and old paper. Or no, I believe it's only the old paper actually. I'm going to do the same thing for both of the sides, and I'm going to dry it in between. And then I'm going to stitch around the edge as well and ink around the edges. I then want to add a tab, and I'm going to use this piece of fabric with stripes. I'm going to secure it with a bit of art glitter glue, and then I'm going to put in the eyelet. I then want to cover this journal card with some remnant rubs on the edges. I didn't film the entire thing because it's a slow process. I then want to create another flap to go on the other side, and I'm going to cut a piece of paper to the size that I need and create a thicker spine because it needs to overlap the rest of the folio. And I'm planning on making a envelope wallet type of thing that's quite bulky, so I need a pretty big spine for it. I'm going to cover the spine with some sports tape to reinforce it. Then I'm going to start making the envelope wallet. I've measured some pieces of paper that I want to use. I'm going to use 4 in total, and I'm going to start scoring 2 lines that are, I think, 2/8. I think, yeah, they're pretty small. And then I'm going to mark where I want the bottom to be and score that as well. I realized later that I had to make 3 scores to make a zigzag, because that will glue down better for the envelope, but you will see that in a bit. And then I'm going to cut out the little squares in the corners. I want this envelope wallet thing to have like 3 tiers, and all of the tiers will be slightly smaller. I now realize that I needed the 3 scores, so I'm going to give the 3rd score and then just cut out the rest of the square there. And then I'm also going to make the 3rd pocket. And this is going to be the last pocket. So this time I am making 3 scores to the sides and 1 on the bottom, and then cut out the square again. This part was actually inspired by a video from Nick the Booksmith. She creates amazing cool lap books. I believe this is one from 5 years ago though. But yes, she made this envelope and I really wanted to recreate it. Now it's time to glue them together. You want to start by gluing the bottoms together first on all 3 of them. I then want to cut off the excess because one of the strips was a bit larger than the other ones. And now I'm going to do some inking around the edges. And then you need to create one more panel that you are going to glue on the last piece. Now it's time to create a closure. So I've cut out this piece of paper to the width of the envelope, and then I'm going to score about 6 or 7 times to create a rounded top. This will allow the envelope to expand and the closure will expand with it, if that makes sense. I'm then going to round the corners and I'm going to use the second largest setting. Then I'm going to stick it down with some art glitter glue. Then I'm going to create 2 closures, and I've used the Tim Holtz craft cardstock as well as a circle from leftover paper. And I'm going to use hole reinforcers on the back to make sure that the thread can go around it easier. I'm then going to poke a hole with my awl and then add a brad, and I'm going to put a piece of tape on the inside. I'm then going to repeat the same thing on the top. Now I'm going to put around this thread, and I like to glue down the thread a bit with some art glitter glue. Just add a tiny bit of glue and use something to put the thread against it and let it dry. And I'm then going to stick everything down. I also forgot to mention that I covered a bit of the inside because the bread is showable on the inside, but I didn't film that, I think. And now we're going to continue working on the spines, and I've used these two pieces of fabric which are the same from that I've used before in the project. These are from a bag, and I'm going to be painting 2 red stripes again as I did before as well, and I'm going to do some stamping on them too. The strips of fabric are a bit bigger now, or wider. I'm going to make them smaller to fit the spines later. The paint that I'm using is DecoArt Americana in the color Tuscan Red. I then want to add them to the spines, and I've added a piece of cardboard to make the spine a bit more sturdy, and then I'm going to add the fabric, and I'm going to do this on both of the sides. And then it's time to attach it to the panel. Now I need to cover the front side of the folio, and I'm going to use this blue piece of paper for that. And then I'm going to stick it down with some double-sided tape as well as some art glitter glue. And then I'm going to start working on the cover. I want to reinforce the spine of this old book, so I'm going to cut out 2 more pieces of this cardboard to make it more sturdy. And I'm going to stick it down with some art glitter glue, and then I'm going to glue 1 more piece the same size on top of that. To reinforce it even more, I'm going to use some sports tape. I'm not going to stick it all the way to the top because I don't want this to be visible. Then I'm going to cover it with a piece of the Reminiscence book. And I'm going to make sure that it lines up with the papers that are already in the book itself. I'm also going to mark where I need to score so that the book will open properly. I'm going to stick down the middle part first. I'm going to ink first. And then I'm going to stick it down with the tape and art glitter glue. I'm then going to make some marks where I want my eyelets to go, because I'm going to put in some threads so that you could tie in anything you'd want. Now this was pretty thick and the eyelets only just fit, so I was quite happy. I'm then going to use this piece of fabric, which is the same that I've used throughout of the book, and I've added a blue and a red stripe with my DecoArt Americana paints, and then I'm going to stick it down to the spine. I also did some stamping on the fabric. I then make the holes again with my crocodile and add the eyelets. I'm also going to use the washers on the inside. And now I'm going to glue in the folios. Then I'm going to add this project that I've made before as a guest design project. And I'm going to make another pocket with the same envelope that I used before. Once I've got everything to the right side, I stick it together and do some sewing, and then I'm going to tear out a notch, just as I did for the bottom one. I'm then going to decorate the pocket with all sorts of pieces, and I'm just going to create a few clusters. I'm then going to roughen it up the edges with my scissors and my nails. To add a bit more contrast, I'm going to add some pieces of paper behind. I'm then going to add some washi tape. And lastly, I want to add this stamp and some sellotape. Once I stuck it down, I thought there were a few empty spots and I didn't really like that, so I decided to add a bit of stamping. And with that, the pocket is finished, and then I'm going to stuff it with some ephemera and some leftover pictures. I'm going to save a few of the pictures for the cover. I'm going to use my sanding disc to roughen up the cover a bit, and I'm going to do it on both of the sides, and then I'm going to take a baby wipe and wipe off all of the dust. And then it's time to decorate the cover. I'm going to start by building the background layers, and I'm going to roughen everything up. And then I'm going to mat the pictures, and I'm going to tear off the edges as well. And then I'm going to add these embellishments. And once I'm happy, I'm going to stick down this cluster. I'm then going to add some details with sewing and stamping. And then for the final touches, I'm going to add some Cellotape as well as some postage stamps. And with that, the cover is finished, and I'm going to stick it down, and after this you will see the end result and full flip through. It is finished. Oh, I'm so glad that it's finished. It took me a while. Lost my mojo for a while, but I am glad that it's finished, and I really like how it turned out. I really love the cover as well, and the spine and the back I'll just keep blank, and then this is what you see on the side. Okay, so let's go in one full flip through. So we'll start on this side. There's a pocket here with an authentic handwritten letter and a I think it's a card postal, like a telegram thing, and a picture which is from my kit. Come on, okay, like so. And then we have a tag, which can be a journal card. And then we open it up like so. And there's another large journal card here. Oh, all right. And then we have a fabric pocket with a tiny journal card in there. And another pocket with another picture and 2 more journal cards. And then we have a pocket here. There's nothing in there, but you can put in whatever you would like with acetate. And then we open it up this way, and then we have 3 journal card tags. These are repair tags, like these ones that we altered. And I made 3 of them. They're all the same. And then this envelope, I've put in 2 more pictures in there. But you could also put some hidden journaling or whatever you'd like. Okay. This opens up like that. And then this opens like so. And then we have the 3 vintage envelope pockets. There's also a big pocket behind here. Well, it's not really deep, so it's actually quite small. I think something like this would fit. Yeah. So yeah, there's 3 pockets here. And then I've put the threads where you can tie in your journal or whatever you would like. And then we have 2 small pockets here. This one is a journal card. And here are the rest of the pictures that are not used yet throughout. And some ephemera. Like that. And then we open it up like so. And then we have the big envelope. And I have stuffed this with, in the first compartment, there is leftover tags from the project. And then I have put in a bunch of real vintage envelopes. And then at the back there are also some new unused airmail envelopes. These ones are real vintage ones. Okay. Like so. And then here we have the 2 coin envelope pockets that we made. And some more pictures that are turned into journal cards. And here's the other one. And then this opens up as well. And then we have a side tuck with a large journal card, which is an altered index card. And I've put in an extra, I don't know even what this is. No goods delivered without this check. I think it's also like a repair tag or something, but I thought it looked cool. And then here we have the herringbone pockets with all sorts of stuff in there. And in the big pocket there is a real vintage, well, this is school work, but it does look like a real letter to me. So that's in there if it wants to. Okay, maybe like so. Yeah. And these are also all journal cards. There's a lot of journal cards in here because this project doesn't have an actual journal, and I did want to make spots where you could journal if you want to. But yeah, this is mainly like a lookbook, right? I'm not really a journaler, so I make my stuff just because I think it's nice to look at it, and it's just the process that I like. Now this opens up like this again, and then we have the elastic band, I don't know, pocket. It's not really a pocket, but I don't know, how do you call this? Well, we have this thing. And then we have the faux vintage letters that we made and printed out. This is the newsprint paper. I think this was folded differently. I can't remember how I folded it. I think like so. No. How did I fold this? Oh, like so. Okay. And then we have another pocket, and this is the faux stamp booklet that we made. And then we have a real vintage airmail envelope that we stamped and such, and then we put in another faux letter, like so. Okay. Right, like this. And you can just slide this in. Okay. Right, like so. And then here the last part of the journal is the removable notepad. I put in 2 more pictures, and then this is all vintage and tea-dyed ledger and papers and envelopes and such. And this is the the journal, I would guess. And you can remove it, like I said, but you can also remove the papers and replace them with new ones or add more, because there's loads of space to make more, but you might want to extend the spine, then make it a bit bigger. So yeah, that's it for this project. I really like how it turned out, and I hope you enjoyed it as well. If you do, don't forget to hit the like button and comment down below. If you have not seen the entire project and you want to see it start to finish, there's the playlist. I will also link that down below. So yeah, thank you all for watching. Have a nice day wherever you are, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!